Greeting fellow modelers. Today, let us look on the KI-44-IIa called Ko, one of the fastest Japanese interceptors of World War II. This model from the Scissors and Plane 100 scale series. Real beauty? So, without further ado, let's dive right in to see how we can achieve this result. And here we have the KI-44-IIa, this here. The Japanese fast interceptor, you see those silver paint mark, watercolored, and you see the underside, the oil cooler. That's one of the main features of the KI-44-IIa Ko, and I just like how it looks. Really snazzy, real fast. For such a small model, I'm just really pleasantly surprised at the detail that it carries. So let us just jump into this quickly and see how I built this thing. So the Showcase KI-44, we start cutting out the main wing underside. Of course, it's a one piece. And in doing this, a few things come to mind. Take your time in cutting this out, okay? 2, there is no hard and fast rule how to build this kit. So you just have to look, you can make your own technique, but these are the ones that work for me. Like using the toothpick and a ball point from a cake decorating tool. That's what I use to just do the edges. Here you see I'm using the brush handle. And these various things I'm doing is to preform the wing. That way it makes it a lot easier to glue in the required shape. Here I'm just laying down some glue. My favorite glue to use, of course, is Alene Tacky glue. And this is a good step up really from a Fiddler's Green kit. After a couple underneath your belt, then you can try this. One of the beauty with these kits is that you can build so many models and it won't take up so much space. So there we have our wing. And now the dihedral is a matter of cutting out and putting a wing to give it a proper chord thickness and a place to brace against the fuselage when it's built. Now, the paper used to do this is 120-gram sheet. It's printed on 120-gram sheet paper. That's what I find a perfect blend to both use to build a model, retain some form of strength, and yet still good enough to take curve. Here we're cutting out the cowling area. You see I'm using the paintbrush handle to roll it. We join, and then right after we're going to use the scissors and just make a lot of cuts so that way we can join it. Now we cut out the cowling front. We use our cake decorating tool, the ballpoint one, to make a compound curve. We join, and then we're going to add it to what we just cut out. Sorry to come off screen. There, and then we make sure, put a generous amount of glue, and then we attach a line. Make sure you align it, but we attach the engine front. You can use a brush handle tip, but here it is just making sure to get everything joined nicely. And then I use the ball point again to just smoothen the joint areas. And then we can continue with the rest of the clip. What I find fascinating with this is that, it equipped 12 groups, 12 wings of the Japanese Air Force. And this here, although it appeared in 43, 44, it was actually prototyped in 1941, and it was really based on some requirements. It had to be a fast interceptor, so they sacrificed maneuverability for speed. This particular model had an engine that was 1,440 horsepower, and one of the big characteristic with the 2A is that it had an external oil cooler, and this thing could achieve 604 kilometers per hour, or in North American terms 378 miles per hour. And it had the armament, gun sight, and the drop tank version similar to the version 1 of it, and it had a rounded cockpit access door compared to the square ones from before. About 355 of these were produced. One of the main advantage when you're building this kit is that you can find points, panel lines to align your model, which is good. Just a simple thing of using the techniques you learn from the beginner's guide, which I have here, how to roll fuselage parts and how to join them and how to integrate the wing onto the fuselage. So this is a test fit here. We check it and then we'll glue later. Not bad. So after we glue the wing to the fuselage, we then focus on the fin and stabilizer. So we cut our fins out, we glue together, and we take our time with these, okay? At this scale, your best friend literally is a toothpick to form things. Always make sure, if you can, pre-form before you glue. So this way it will help with creating the shape that you desire for your model. Here you see I'm widening the base just a little bit because into that goes the end of the fuselage. And there it's looking really good. What brings this model alive now, the golden rule is to make sure you paint the edges of your model once you're finished. Same rule apply like what we do when we do our Fiddler's Green kit. Here we're doing the stabilizer, and of course we split a toothpick and we're going to put the toothpick in the area where we have the stabilizer. We then apply a little glue just to hold in place, and then we check the alignment of our stabilizer and we're pretty much good. Always check the leveling, make sure everything looks fine. And here we have the external oil cooler. Like I said, the distinctive look of the 2A code. All these models can be had at ecardmodels.com. They're available from between $1 to I think up to $6 for groups of various color scheme and profile. It's really worth it, especially that they're scale. This model I'm building is to scale. And here you see we're doing the cockpit canopy. We just carefully align and you see it coming together. I mentioned it before earlier, maybe twice. Just make sure after all this, spend the time to paint the edges of your model and highlight it. It really adds a substantial amount to it looking all that more realistic. Here we're cutting out the main landing gear fairings and we're putting in place. You know, this is a beautiful kit even if the parts are quite small. Here we're doing the tail wheel. It's just a matter of cut out, put them back to back and put in place. Other than that, you can use super glue to hold the parts in place, depending, just small bits of it. What I love about these scale models now is that there are so many available in this series that I can't wait to try out. They're really beautiful. I enjoy the fact that they are to scale and we can build so many of them. Here you see I'm doing the main wheel now. I am putting them on literally a cereal box, and the thickness will be perfect for making the main wheel. And now we just glue them back to back, and then we can paint the edges. Here you see I'm doing the spinner, and like I said, it's just time and patience. These here, you just use a toothpick to make sure they are rounded properly. You can use the edge of your brush handle to make sure you get a proper curvature, and then you just glue them. It don't take much because of the size and the scale, but it really looks nice. 1 and 2 paint job with it and it should be easy. Here I'm cutting out the spinner, which is doubled up, and it's the same thing. Again, if you're building a model like this, make sure that you use at least 120 gram. And then we end up finished painting the model. Take time to paint it, it makes a world of difference. And pretty much you have your model. I want to thank you so much for watching this, and please look out in the future because there are so many more models like this that's going to come online. I want to thank especially all my Patreon members, especially those who encourage me and who help contribute to bringing this model to you. Their contribution make it possible for you to see build like these. Thank you so much. And thank you, my loyal visitors who visit me each and every weekend, and sometimes surprisingly during the week. So until then, my friends, take care, walk good, one love.